XArt student here. Today on an XArtEducation video, we are going to discuss iMovie. So iMovie is an application that automatically loaded onto Apple products like Macs, and it's an editing software for videos. And I actually currently use it, so I figured I'd create some basics for you guys to show you how I edit and hopefully help you if you have iMovie. Alright, so we're going to get started on iMovie. I open the application and first thing I'm going to do is create new, and I do movie. So here we're actually in the media center if you've already imported things. This is where it would be, and if not, you can either go to File, Import Media, and look through your files. I usually go to my files that I'm using and I select everything. I drag it and drop it right here. On an Apple, you're going to do Command B at the same time as a little keyboard shortcut. Now I have all my videos imported and I could look through and see what I want and what I don't want. So when I look at my videos, I quickly play. I could press the space bar, or you could press the play button right here. I like using the quick keyboard shortcuts, and I look through to see what is an interesting little clip. So to me, yes, that was cool looking at the squiggles, but at first it started out pretty boring. So I'm going to clip this, or split it. I stop it where I want, so you could either press the pause. I use the space button, it's just easier. You can do 2 fingers and press split clip, and we'll break it up. Or when I get to the point that I want, I do Command B, and I delete the sections I don't want. So then it plays a little bit easier, and it has the effect that I want, and it's not as long to wait for the desired effect. So I go up here to the color balance. You can either do auto, match a color to something different, white balance, you click something on the page. You can do skin tone balance. I personally don't mess with these very much. Honestly, it just doesn't give the desired effect for me. I go to our little color correction. I'm usually a contrast person, and I'll do a little bit of brightness. You can mess around to see what you like or what you don't like. You can always reset it. I think this clip needs a little bit of brightness and a little bit of contrast. If you want to add more color, more saturation, play around, or no color at all, I can always adjust the cool tones or the warm tones. If my clip is too yellow, I'll add a little bit of blue to balance it out, kind of like opposites on a color wheel. So crop can either just fit your whole screen. This is your editing section, like that's what people will see. You could put it on big screen if you want. I usually don't. I like editing right here, so I can view everything. I'm looking at my clips, and it's this wide shot of my painting. So the next clip that I have is the same exact shot. To me, yes, the subject is interesting, but the visuals are boring. So what I usually do, especially if I'm working on small details, I'll go to the crop tool, and I might zoom in a little bit right here. So we go from here, then we're zoomed in, and we see those tiny details, the little brush strokes. I might clip it a little bit. Maybe I'll move my crop tool to follow the motion and see how that looks. So we start out here, and then my paintbrush glides right into the visual. And we have this little section here. So there's another thing called Ken Burns. This works a lot better on a smaller clip, the Ken Burns. So it might automatically have something, or you can move it around and have a different starting position. Maybe you want to start in the corner, and then it shows you where the camera will pan to. So I like to try it out, see if that's something that I'm really into, to make it more of a dynamic shot, not still, not stagnant. It looks pretty interesting. I use the Ken Burns very seldomly, only because it's not like a direct flow, like it's not following the paintbrush exactly. It's just a one side to another. I don't really need it all the time. It's just for a little bit of effect. Even 10-second clip, that's way too long for me for a Ken burn. It also depends on the subject. This one's pretty easy. I don't play around with it too much. I look at this clip and I do like that it pans down, but obviously my hand was pretty shaky. So what I do is I select it and the yellow border lets me know that it's selected. I press stabilize shaky video. You can adjust the percents. I kind of just trust the 33 and I take a look, and overall it's pretty smooth. Just note, not all clips are going to be perfectly smooth like this one. Like let's say you're running or whatnot, it might just take the motion that is the most important or the most prevalent motion and follow that. So it might be kind of like jittery sometimes. Just play around with your clip, play around with the different settings. If you don't like it, then change it, or just get rid of the clip if it's really not helping you tell the story. Next, we're looking at speed. We're going to click right here, and it starts off with normal. So if I'm looking at my clip, all right, yep, we got some cool strokes, but maybe I'm not a fan of just watching real time. So I could click this clip. I could go to fast, freeze frame, custom. I usually play around with slow or fast. So if I want it to be dramatic, I might go, I'll clip it a little bit first because I don't need all of that motion. I make sure that I get close to the brush. And here's my action. Boom, boom, cool. For me, honestly, that was slow, but it wasn't slow enough. If I want it to be dramatic, I'm going to take a look and maybe we'll go with the music nice and slow. It flows, and I'm happy with that. I can even crop a little bit so then it's even more focused and intense on those pieces. And of course, personal preference. So I'm looking at this, it's a lot of clip. Normally I don't use this whole like 4-minute clip, but if I did want to and I was being lazy, I would go here to fast, to speed. Normally, I might play around with 8 speed or 20 speed, depending on how the clip turns out. It depends what you want to get out of your video. For me, that seems fun. And I want to do a reverse. You see me painting, and it's getting rid of all of the pieces. Honestly, reverse looks a lot better when you're using fabric or water or powder. Something that will be more of a dramatic change than just adding little lines. Next up, we have the filter section. So you can change the colors, make it look dramatic. This can really just create a certain vibe for your piece. Me personally, the only one that I really use is flipped. I like using flipped because then it's just another angle. But when you use a tool like overlay, which I'll show you later, it's cool to see the mirrored effect when you're painting or doing something else. So let's say I wanted to do this clip, I could put it on top, I drag and drop, but for now I really don't want to. I kind of just want this same exact clip right on top. So I'm going to copy, I'm going to make sure I'm at the end of the clip and paste. And now I'm going to hover it above my first clip. And now I can't see what's going on. But the way to do it is you have that overlay. So you click it. You can either do green screen, which here, actually it does kind of look cool because of the green. It makes an interesting effect. I don't really use it because I don't have a green screen, but this honestly looks kind of cool, so I might in the future. I usually use split screen. You can either do left or right, top or bottom. I usually do the left or right or top or bottom, and it really makes the painting look a lot more interesting and you can show movement of time as well as just maybe something that was kind of boring. It looks a little bit more interesting when there's more than one thing. Something else that I was showing before, you can go into the filters and you could do the flipped effect. And maybe if you put the overlay to the left, we flip it to the right. And let's see if there's more. Okay, ooh, that's cool. And when it's flipped, it's just interesting to see the different directions, the opposites working, and it really makes it an interesting scene. That's more of like a cool artsy thing to me. You can even do none and just have the same scene twice. If you don't want the same scene, maybe you just grab another clip. All right, that's a cool little swirl. Plop that on top. Oh, wrong thing. Okay. I'll do an overlay. Split screen. And let's see what happens. All right, cool. Another thing you can do with the overlay is picture in picture. So maybe you don't want the same clip. You want something totally different. Something that is more visually interesting. This one looks cool to me, so I'm just going to cut that. Plop it over here and make sure I hover it above. Don't need this little clip. Now I want to do the overlay. I want picture in picture. And not much is going on up here in my piece, so I put something more interesting there. Sometimes I'll do this if I'm showing, if I'm referencing something like a different artwork or a different clip, or maybe just to make it a little bit more interesting than just the same stale wide angle shot. Just so my video is a little bit more fun to edit and it's fun to watch, because when I'm watching my videos, if I'm bored, I feel like other people are probably bored. So personally for my videos, I don't speak in mine. Like I don't do voiceovers in my actual videos. So I get rid of the volume because it's usually me listening to a podcast or my husband playing games in the background or my dog barking. So don't want you guys to hear that. When I have it all selected, I'll go right here, and sometimes I press the no volume right there. Or if I don't do that, you can go over to a clip, make it bigger. And in this blue area right here, I just lower the volume to 0, but that's only for individual. Right here, there's a little music note. You can import a song that you have on maybe iTunes, but if you know YouTube, you can't use copyrighted music. So I personally use Thematic. I'm able to use what they have there. You can pick any song that you like. I just download it. When it comes to your sounds, you can upload your own. You can even do a voice recording. You click here. I have it so then when I record, I click and it does a countdown for me. You can take that setting off, but for me, it helps me mentally prepare for what I'm going to say and kind of take a few deep breaths. I'll let it go. Hey, XR student here. Today I'm going to blah, blah, blah. So I listen back to it. So a thing that I have here with my volume, lower volume of the other clips. I usually bring my voice up, and if this is too loud in the beginning, I'll click here. So again, if you hover over your music, you get this little ball. You're going to click and drag, and it will slowly fade you into the music. So it'll start off soft and then go to the normal volume. You can even split these clips. You do not need the entire song. You can make the end of the video fade out, so loud to soft. So I'll show you what it sounds like right now. Hey, XR student here. Today I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And now it's at its full height of volume. If I want, I usually put it at 400 it automatically does 100, so I'll show you that. I feel like my voice is too low, so I usually put it at 400 and then I lower the volume probably to 30. So if this is a talking video, you'll mainly hear my voice and the music's in the background. But if I'm feeling sick or if it's just more of a visual video, I'll make the music more important than my voice. So this is what it will sound like. Hey, XR student here. Today I'm going to blah, blah, blah. I'll move it to the middle so then you could have more of a idea of what it sounds like when it's full volume, or the 30%. Hey, XR student here. Today I'm going to blah, blah, blah. So when my clip is here, it automatically lowers the volume. I don't control this. I'm not really too sure how to, but the simpler the better. I know how to get it across so then my sound is good. Next, we have audio and video. So iMovie actually comes with a bunch of sounds. You can preview it. And if you like it, you can have it. It's where my voiceovers are. Same section. All right. There you go. If you want a hockey buzzer, you can have a hockey buzzer. Next, we have titles. So here, obviously you've seen like cheesy ones like these. It shows you a little preview. These are very old YouTube style. For me, for my videos, I use the lower one, and I like to write in lowercase on my videos. And I take off the border and I take off whatever the O is, and you could change the color. I'm not really a fan of this, but gets the job done. You can change where you want your text to orient. I kind of like it in the bottom right corner, and I'm a Avenir Next Ultralight person. But when I'm playing, it's right there. You can make it stretch to all of these, or you can make it something quick, like maybe if you just quickly wanted to correct something. Sometimes I'll also do a centered title if I have something to say. I don't usually do the subtitle. I'll just do XArt. And maybe I'll keep it at 50. It depends on what I'm trying to get across. And now it's right there. I think it's just important to make sure that you actually have it stand out, like there's a bit of contrast compared to what is actually there. Like the first clip, it's kind of hard to see, but the text is there. Here, you could actually see it because of the darkness of the paper, from the shadows, as well as the paint. Put your cursor over it to see what it does. I just use the black one as a little transition screen. Here I might do a voiceover. And there you have it. That's my piece. Now let's get into blah, blah, blah. So that's usually what I'll do. And there you have it. That's my... Or if I'm trying to show you what my final shots look like. Now my piece is done. Let's take a look at those final shots. And so here's my last clip. Now my piece is done. Let's take a look at those final shots. And obviously I would have better images and probably sound underneath, but that's how I transition. You can choose any of these. I just think the black looks pretty classy. White's probably good too. I think as long as you choose like one solid color, like the orange, to me would be a little bit too much, but it depends what you're trying to make in your video. Like, I would not use the mosaic, but maybe you would. It depends on what you like and your video. We have transitions. I personally don't use them, but if you do want to use them, you could just drag it over, and we have black, and it slides into the next thing. It's very PowerPoint to me, or like Google Slides to me. so I don't do it. The one that I might do is fade to black or fade to white. So I think it just looks pretty clean with my piece. So do the fade to white. You could also make it longer than it is. So maybe I'll do 4 seconds. Okay, maybe I won't do 4 seconds. Maybe I'll do 3 seconds. Okay. Because personally, the 1 second is a little bit too short. If you double click, that's how you could change it. Create something or find something on Google that is a PNG, it will work. So I have all of these little characters to make my videos a little bit more interesting. I'm going to do that overlay, usually picture in picture. Put it on fit or else it won't work well. And here I'll have my little guy so it looks a little bit more interesting. If I'm talking about maybe adding keyboard shortcuts, maybe I'll add like C and maybe Command or whatever I have to do. I'll go to fit. I will do picture in picture and picture in picture. The only annoying thing is that you can't really see what the previous size is, so you kind of have to guess. Luckily, it had it there for me, so when I'm playing this video, it has the C, and then we have our command. I could make my clips bigger. I usually work kind of big. I'll do mid. And if 4 seconds is too much, I'll split it, and I get rid of what I don't need. Get rid of that dissolve because I don't want it to fade in. Here we have our C. It clicks right away to command, and that's pretty cute. There's a way to do it, I think, on Procreate and Photoshop. I don't have Procreate and I don't know how to do it on Photoshop properly, so I kind of cheat my way through it on iMovie. And you can too. So let's say I have my characters. I have my little blinking one. Maybe I'll do the big eyes and the blink. That's pretty cute. All right, so I'll bring my big eyes in and I'll bring my blinking in. Okay, they are going to be fitting. It is going to be overlaid picture in picture. And I'm going to move my little boy into the corner. Usually if you move it into the corner, it's a lot easier than trying to line it up somewhere. So I'm like, oh, where the heck is that skull? And see how it's totally in the wrong spot? Let me get rid of that dissolve. Don't wanna. Oh no. Don't like the dissolve. Okay. So I usually choose a corner. And I hope that it's the same size. If you get rid of the clip that has the little blue lines on it, or even where your title is, let's say I delete it, your title goes away. If you delete your clip with your little overlays, they go away too. Now we have our open eyes and then our blink. And it is a pretty smooth transition. It's just obviously this is really too slow. So I want the blink to be right away. You can click the clip. Once you have this little icon, you could drag it all the way to the end and it'll be quick. So I'm going to make this right next to it to make it really quick. And let's see, click. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger so I can edit it a little bit better. I copy, I click on the side of it and I paste. Now let's see how it goes. Blink, 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 cute. All right, let's do a little bit more for those blinks. Oh my God, so cute. He's just blinking. And now we have a little blinking surprise skull boy. And you could do that to kind of make your video interesting, maybe add a cute comic relief, or maybe it could be words right here, or like a thank you or subscribe, whatever you feel like doing. Now you can make a little GIF. So make sure you watch your entire video because you don't want to export it and then find errors in it. Always watch it, even if it's boring and you're tired. You just need to make sure that it flows well, the music's there, your voiceover sounds good, and just making sure it's a good finished piece. Obviously, we can make mistakes, but it's nicer when we don't have to go in and edit it. I finished and I'm like, yes, this is perfect. I'm going to go here to my little share button, and you have these options. Personally, I do export file, and then I save it to my external hard drive because my laptop can't handle a lot of gigs. But let's say I'm exporting. I can change the title of my movie, so maybe I make it iMovie Ed video, and then I want video and audio. I do want it the highest resolution. It depends on your camera quality, but usually if you use an iPhone and have the videos turned up with high quality, it will be the 1080. But on my old camera, it used to only be up to 720. I make sure my quality is the best. Compress, I want better quality. Don't destroy my piece just because you want it to be fast. Oh, okay, you can see a little preview of it. 23 seconds, that's the amount. You press next, and then you save it to where you want. And that concludes my video on some tips and tricks and basics of iMovie. I hope you learned something. Hopefully it helped you out. And thank you so much for watching. If you like this and wanted to see more, check out my Instagram, TikTok, Etsy, considering liking, subscribing, commenting if you would like. Thank you so much for watching. Can't wait to see you next week. Thanks. Bye.